What an interesting round 11 team list announcement. For those that have Latrell Mitchell, Tessie New, Abby Coruscant, and Angus Crichton, like myself, this isn't a fun one. It's making, I know a few people are struggling and they've got only sort of 16 playing this week. So I have to make a couple of trades, and especially when trades are a bit of a premium at the moment. Most people are sitting at 10 or under. It's going to make for a hard week of trying to work out who to bring in. But there is one guy that's given me some interest at a cheap price, so we'll go through that in a moment. So for the Eels, they got their cattle back. Mitch Moses is back for Jai Field, so for those that had Field as well, adds to that pain. He was scoring fairly well up until this point, so hope you enjoy those price rises and we'll be able to trade him out unless there's a complication with Moses or Dylan Brown. He'll come straight back into that team. Madison's back for all those people that have him, which is great. He's going to score well again. Thumb should be all good. Now they gave him extra rest. And Fergo's back in the team. So the only one on the Tigers side is Garner is out. G-Cam comes in, so nothing really important to talk about there. Moving on to the next game, your Cowboys. So Dejan Assi scored really well in his first game for the Cowboys. Obviously scored a try. I don't expect that to happen each week. But obviously he did score it against a good Panthers side, so yeah, anything's possible. But I'm really happy with how he played for his first game. So he's someone that is thinking about bringing him in. Michael Morgan is thought to be back in the next sort of 3 weeks, 3 to 4 weeks there. But who knows though? He was meant to be sort of back around around 11 or 12, and that's been pushed back. So there's every chance he gets pushed back again with Cowboys not having a great season. So something to think about with him. He's cheap at 260 in the 260s. But yeah, that's all I've got to say about him. Just have to think about it. Adam Fanua-Blake is back. For those who have him, I don't think there's too many people that do. But pushes Paseka back to the bench. And only other thing there is Reece Robson played limited minutes on the weekend. He did get a rest for Ruben Cotter, who actually came on and played really well in that stint, especially in the first half. So if that's continuing, I know there's a few people that brought him in last week, Reece Robson, and it looked like he was going to be safe for 80 minutes, being one of Cowboys' better players, but unfortunately that hasn't happened, and it's a bit of a worry that he won't play the 80. And if he doesn't play the 80, he's definitely a trade out, as he'll start losing money and he won't score as well as he was before. Something to think about there. All right, the fun one of the week, the Brisbane Broncos. Anthony Milford's been moved from 6 to 1. Which means Tessie New has been dropped, unfortunately. So he only got a few price rises, a couple of decent scores and a couple of crap ones. Of course, I played him last week when he got 11 instead of the week before when he got 50 odd. So that is the great game of NRL fantasy. So, yep, Tessie New's out. Asako's out. Staggs is back in, for anyone that still has him. If you think about bringing him in, I probably wouldn't bother. They're up against the Storm. I don't doubt they're going to go very well. But who knows? Bunch of changes. Tom Dearden moves into 7 role. Corey Pakes is in for Isaac Luke. And that's about all to say with this team. Paddy Carrigan's killing it. Payne Haas is doing his thing in that average Broncos squad. That's all from there. Moving along, Warriors. Jazz Tavanga, number 13. Scored really well last week. Didn't even play crazy minutes, but got such a high score. He's just such a workhorse. Just his base stats are incredible, and gets the odd tackle break in there just to add to it. So I'll talk about him in the trade-in targets this week, but he's someone to think about. The only worry I see with him is that their team is changing so often. Toa Harris 12 to 13, Katoa in out. Carl Lawton's moving around. He was in the second row. Now he's playing 9. Where's he going to move back to when Egan comes back, for example? That's just something to think about. So they change a lot, and their backs are changing a shitload as well. So just think about that when you bring in someone like Tavanga. Yeah, but he's scoring well. And on the Roosters side, we've got Angus Crichton, who's out. Mitch Orbison comes straight in. Nat Butcher's back on the bench. And Takiaho's been moved from 13 to prop. So Isaac Liu is off the bench now and into the 13 role. And that's exactly what we thought. So interesting to see how Takiaho goes in the 10 position, front row. Been scoring really well of late and playing big minutes. Interesting to think of the bench. They've got Tupanua, Butcher and Collins. how many minutes will Isaac Liu play? You'd imagine Orbo and Corden are playing the 80. Friend gets a spell from Lamb, and you got Hargraves and Takiaho. You'd say that they both play over 50, like they normally would. So sort of over 50 minutes for Hargraves, Takiaho, and Liu, and spelled by those three guys, sort of playing around 30 minutes each. That's how I see the squad. It'd just be interesting to see if he plays any less minutes than he has been, Takiaho. I know a lot of people brought him in this week. Moving along to the next game, we've got Toby Rudolph at the lock position again, and he did play big minutes last week, with Scott Sorensen going off early, sort of played the bulk of the minutes from there and scored well. So if you still have him, he's not really someone that's going to make you any more money, but if you have to play him this week, then him being in 13 role is going to be very helpful. Benny Hunt killed it again. Looks like that's going to be closer to the norm now that I think he'd be feeling a little bit safer knowing that he's got that spot now. Cam McInnes in the 13, that they're playing well with that setup, so I'd see that continuing and him to feel a bit more confident and play a bit better in that position there. That's my general thought. And then Tyrell Fuimayano getting that start position. So if you've got him in your team again, hopefully a few more price bumps, but unlikely there. All right, moving down. Only thing with Raiders, they got that Valamai that comes in, but with Oldfield having his hamstring injury, but I wouldn't be thinking about bringing him into your squad. And moving on to the other side, we've got a couple of key outs. Ethan Lowe's out. Bailey Sirotton gets a start. He's the person at the start of the video I was talking about that should be a good option for teams. Liam Knight comes back in a few weeks. He should come back into the middle rotation like he was playing that sort of last 3 or 4 weeks before he got injured. And he was doing well in that position. So I don't see Cameron Murray moving from 13. So I say Sirotton has that spot for the foreseeable future. Obviously things can change, but he's someone with a good PPM, and I think he's a great addition to your squad at 290k, and you can even start him, in your playing 17. So really good option there. The other one was James Roberts is out, and Campbell Graham comes back, so just a straight swap there. John Bateman is in the 21 jersey, so there's a chance that he can come back this week. So just think about that if you are holding someone like a Hudson Young. He'll slot back straight into that position, I'd say. Be interesting to see what happens with someone like Kai O'Donnell, who's unfortunately only playing 28 minutes, scoring well in that time. Moving along, Kalen Ponga and Bradman Best had a great game. They now get to play the Dogs, so good chance they score well again. Lucky for those who held him. Seen a few people talking about getting rid of Kurt Mann this week. He's still averaging 50. And scoring well. He's playing really well. I doubt that there's no other issues in your team, and Kurt Mann's someone you'd want to trade out, but that's just my thoughts with him there. Averillo comes back into the centres for those that have him. Andrew McCulloch scoring really well, and Pearce is in that up and down phase at the moment. 30-odd, 50-odd. Time to get some back-to-back scores for those who have him, like myself. RFM, absolutely killing it. Made a good amount of money for those people that have brought him in, scoring a few tries, so well done there. And it looks like Luke Thompson is just going to be a steady player. He's not going to make any money from his position there. All right, moving on to the Titans game. Unfortunately, Bo Firma has been dropped with Kevin Proctor back in the team like we thought would happen. Got his 3 games in the sun. Did all right in that time, but unless there's another injury, I can't see him coming back into that squad. And Jamal Fogarty got injured on the weekend. They have a little bit of cover, but it looks like he should be okay. We haven't heard anything from NRL physio or anyone about his injury. So if you do have him, he didn't score that well on the weekend, so his price rises probably drop from now, or at least remain stagnant from here. So something to think about with him. I'd say take your cash gains from him and move on and upgrade him to someone, if he's your starting half at the moment. I know a lot of people had him and also Moses, so Moses comes back in, which is great, but I'd say you can upgrade him from there. And the Panthers, big finish to the round here with Dylan Edwards out with another hamstring injury. Very sad for those people who brought him in last week after his big game. someone that I've had a few issues with in the past, and yeah, that's why I tread cautiously. I've brought him in a few times, and he plays 1 or 2 games, does okay, or has an off game or two, and then gets injured and just ruins all your plans. So unfortunately, that's the case. And Akins is back in the team. And then the other big news is Abby Coruscant is out for Mitch Kenny coming in. We'll find out a little bit more over the next few days, hopefully, before the first game, if Appy is only out for the week or not, if it's just precautionary. They're obviously playing the Titans, so there's no real need to push him, and they're sitting at the top of the table there with the Eels. So I wouldn't be too stressed about that. We'll see what happens. A lot of people are trading him out. A lot of people wanted to trade him out for the last 3 or 4 weeks anyway, so this is a great excuse for him. But I still see him as a keeper, and if he's only out for 1 week and you can get through the week without him, then you should do so. So anyway, guys, that's the team list for the week. Let me know what trades you're going to make in the comments. Please hit subscribe if you've been enjoying the videos, and the like button. It really helps out the channel. I'm enjoying putting out these videos, and I hope you are enjoying watching them. So have a good week, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.